Good evening, everyone. Hello, and welcome to Off the Rails. My name is Jason, aka Woo Woo J Train. And this evening, we're going to do what we've done on each stream so far. We're going to draft a dinger. And feeling like the winner's going to come out of this lobby. Maybe, hopefully. Hopefully, it'll be me. But if not, that'd be kind of cool, right? And like in a weird way, it'd be cool to be in the initial pod that the winner was drafted out of, like even if it's not you. I don't know. I would think that's kind of cool. Brad doing the Lord's work here, keeping an eye on the draft lobby. If it's a 10 out of 12, might just kind of hang out and let that one fill, and then we'll get in a fresh one, and hopefully people trickle in, get some time to hop in the draft with us. But Brad, thank you as always for coming, man. Always appreciate you and the laughs, especially in the Discord silliness. But I think I'm going to start just to allot for a little bit of time for people to hop in. I'm going to just go over my exposures. That's already filled. All right. I mean, if that's the case, I'm going to go ahead and just queue one up real quick. So let me get my screen share ready to go. All right, so here are, excuse me, my exposures, but real quick, let's go ahead and reg for a dinger. All right, we need 9 more. That's perfect. So in the meantime, while we wait for that, let's look at exposures. So looking at them right now because I'm through 50 dingers, and that is at least halfway through for me. Probably not going to max. Just the bankroll needs to increase a little bit for me to feel comfortable with maxing this thing. But the plan is to do at least 100. So let's sort by pitcher first. So this is just dinger drafts. We can look across all the contests, but so far this is kind of where I'm sitting. Right now, I've been in on Carlos Rodon. I know his velocity was down a little bit in his first spring start. He still looked pretty decent, but I definitely need to see that velocity tick up to feel really good about this. My contention with him has never been he doesn't need to be super ace to pay off that particular price tag. I'm hoping that he's still got super ace in him and he's just, a complete and total smash show at that ADP. But he just needs to be good, relatively good, especially with the strikeout upside that he has to pay off that price tag. So hoping for, super ace Rodon to come back and also for him to stay healthy, which is half a miracle. Dylan Cease, I didn't realize that I was this in on him so far. I feel fine with that. Even last year with a bad season, he still put up a good number of underdog points. It was just he never seemed to really hit his stride. But another guy who's got mega strikeout upside, and eventually he'll be off the White Sox. Their defense is horrible, and I don't know that Paul DeYoung and Nicky Lopez are gonna cure what ails them, but I'm in on him quite a bit, and then Grayson Rodriguez. So those three are tied for the highest exposure. Got a lot of Hunter Green, high strikeout guy, very volatile. And then I didn't draft much Lance Lynn in the bullpen, and I've gotten more of him in the dinger. It just feels a little too cheap for a guy who's going to eat up some innings, and hope to God he gives up less home runs than last year, because that was wild. Yu Darvish is very interesting as well, because I have none of him in the bullpen, and I've apparently been clicking his name a lot in the dinger. I think he started today. I did not see how he did. So if anybody knows in the chat, feel free to chime in and let me know. But you're going to notice the archetype of guys that I'm targeting at pitcher are high strikeout guys, just massive K guys. Obviously Lance Lynn isn't as high strikeout as the other guys, but he does have the ability to go nuts every once in a while. Christian Javier, just kind of hoping for a bounce back season from him. That's another guy that I don't think I drafted a single time in the bullpen, the earlier contest that I've gotten to in the dinger. And I kind of by design a little bit. My plan the whole time was to try to condense my ownership a little bit more in the bullpen and then diversify a little bit more in the dinger. I don't know if I'm gonna wind up doing that, but I am getting exposure to some guys that I haven't gotten exposure to in the early contest. Gavin Williams, I've been getting a lot more of him lately. He feels too cheap. Joe Musgrove is an interesting case. He has been horrible his first couple times out. But I think he's thrown a total of like 20 pitches. I think 18 of them got hit excruciatingly hard, but I'm not too horribly worried about him. You know, he might be working on some stuff, but I don't know. I'm not too concerned at this point. As far as the top end pitchers, Pablo Lopez and Luis Castillo are my two highest owned of those guys. Kyle Bradish, RIP, 12%. Let's see who's at the very bottom of the list here. Some Erod, Merrill Kelly. Let's take a look at George Kirby. Yeah, that's not a good number. I need to get more George Kirby, but his price continues to rise, so I might need to make a decision and just I might just need to fade him and hope it works out. I don't know. Infielders, Matt Chapman. I don't understand why he's as cheap as he is. Although, if we read his little blurb here, San Francisco is still in the mix for him. The Cubs signed Bellinger. I sincerely doubt they're going to sign Chapman too. So it would seem Chapman is probably either going to wind up in Seattle or San Francisco, unless there's some other team that I'm missing. I don't really love that for him from a power production standpoint, but Seattle's got a decent lineup. San Francisco's lineup is, not wonderful, but him paired with Jorge Soler could be fun. And then all draft season, Pasquantino, Hoskins, Paredes, Yandy, Eugenio Suarez, have a lot of Christian Walker. So these are just some of the guys I've been targeting so far. 14% Corey Seager. I'm trying to get more of him at the current discount. I don't really care if he misses a week or two. I expect myself to be able to draft a team that can survive him without a week or two in the beginning of the season. And then before I go to outfield, let me just make sure. Oh, this dinger just filled. So we've got Roofing Man, got the 101. He stopped by on the last stream. Not sure if you're here tonight, Roofing Man, but if you are, welcome in. And then, of course, me and Brad are right next to each other, so that's going to be fun. Yes, definitely some names that we recognize throughout draft season. So the 3-hole feels just wonderful. I love the 3 spot. It feels like you can't miss. Because you're gonna get, one of Soto or Judge. And that always feels nice. So we'll kick this thing off after I make my first pick. I'll watch Brad waste his first round pick, and then we'll move on to outfield exposures. Brad, I bet you pick Shohei because he hit a home run today. Recency bias. Get you every time. As you can see, I kind of just go with the default rankings and just go from there. But I intentionally went in and put Aaron Judge over Juan Soto. That's a decision I've been making pretty much all draft season. It's not that I don't like Juan Soto. It's just Aaron Judge's ceiling is beyond massive. He just needs to cut off that toe that keeps bothering him. Just get rid of it, throw it away. And we're going to get Judge. I can deal with that. Halal. There we go. Did I just see a note that he could play first base? Did I see that? I missed that. Could play first base in emergency. Okay. That's interesting. Let's go take a peek at my exposures for outfield. 10. All right. So here's the top of the list. Wow, that Taylor Ward number is getting kind of crazy. Probably need to back off him a little bit. He's not. I mean, I like Taylor Ward at that price, but I don't necessarily know that I love him enough to have over 30%. Brandon Nemo is just the perfect outfield 2, outfield 3 guy for me. Just feels so safe of a floor. And hopefully he can get a little bit more power in his bat. That would be nice. But I've been talking about Mike Trout all year. I know the Badger Bros have been talking about Mike Trout lately too. I know John Roto Run calling it a generational opportunity to cash in on a guy who's arguably the best player we've seen, at least this generation. A lot of question marks with him. Obviously, health is the big one, but he didn't have a great year last year. He's only 31 or 32 though, so I'm not really worried about father time coming after him yet. That's not old for a baseball player. It's not 26, but it's not old. James Outman, I like him even more after the Manuel Margot trade. I was a little concerned that they may do kind of a little weird platoon thing with them, but Margot is gone, so hopefully Outman plays every day. But Chris Bryant, Eloy, Seiya Suzuki, my highest owned first round pick is Fernando Tatis so far. And I'm gonna out myself real quick, but I'm working on this, guys. Okay, I'm working on it. Brad, just accept what's about to happen, breathe through it, and just know I'm trying to fix this. Okay. All right, I'm trying to fix it. I only have 2 shares of Wyatt Langford in dingers. I have more of him in eliminators, but I only have 2 shares of him in dingers. So laugh at me, ridicule me, call me poor. It's not looking great. I do have 7 Acuna shares through 50 drafts, which feels really, really good. So that's nice. So that's a quick little overview of the exposures as they stand right now. I need to probably get that Wyatt Langford number up because he looks like the real deal. Yeah, I know. I'm aware. I told you, just breathe through it. All right, just let the anger go. Understand that I'm trying to right a wrong. Roofing Man is checking in here again. Appreciate you stopping by, man. Thank you so much. Really, really enjoy it when you guys stop in. This tab is displaying weird, and I don't know why that's happening. Maybe I need to zoom out. Is that better? That is worse, I think. Not sure why that's displaying that way. Sorry, guys. We'll just look at the draft board real quick. Trout goes at 18. I love pairing Trout with Aaron Judge. That feels very risky, but also, my God, if you get that right and you have that pairing, that's a thing. I think, I'm not paying that price for Adolis Garcia. I'm sorry. I've been trying to get a little bit more Vlad lately. I need to see it this year, guys. If he has another meh year, I think we really need to start having a conversation about whether or not he's actually that dude. Because I know that the projection systems love him, and that makes sense. But we've got 2 straight years of just nothing exciting. So for me, I need to see Vlad do it this year. I'm gonna probably come in right around average on the field with him. I'm Don't want to overcommit, but I also think it is potentially tremendously bad to full fade him. So we'll see. But I'm not getting much Vlad. All right, Corey Seager goes 26. He's his ADP's down in like the 30s now. I'm just gonna go ahead and scoop this nice little floor piece and Randy Arozarena. That feels pretty good. So we've got a Aaron Judge, Vladimir Guerrero, Randy Arozarena start. Our good friend Brad's got a Otani, Jose Ramirez, Rafael Devers start. That's really nice. Nolan Jones is starting to creep up into the early 30s in ADP, and that is difficult for me to swallow. I think I really missed the boat on him when he was, in the early 40s and high 30s. You can like get him at the turn. It's pretty rare that you can do that now. I think the hype machine has come for Nolan Jones. So if you want him, you're going to have to pay a premium to get him. Corbin Burns goes 30. I think what I'm going to try to start doing is so one thing I'm going to do, I just exported my exposures. Going to take a look at some combinatorial ownership stuff. I'm actually going to be streaming with our guy Billy Jones on Thursday over on his channel at 8 p.m. Right? Yes, 8 p.m. Central Time. So I'm excited to get back together with him. He and I did a stream on my channel a few weeks ago. Felt like that went really well for us. So we got some stuff we're going to be looking at data points wise over on his channel. So I'm excited to do that. Again, that'll be on Thursday at 8 p.m. Central Time. So I am looking forward to that. Just going to double check on the time. Get my time zones mixed up sometimes. 8 p.m. Eastern. Sorry, 7 p.m. Central. My bad. Thursday, Billy Jones channel, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 Central. There we go. Let's see if we got any funky builds going on. Our guy at the turn here has kind of an interesting situation going on. Strider, Olsen, Albies, Reynolds. So a little mini Atlanta stack there, not missing out on an outfielder. So that's solid. Starting to see some guys from that I remember from last year. Like I haven't seen raise it too much yet. Beretta James, I just saw him hopping in to some drafts recent. I mean, he very well might have been drafting already, but saw him in one earlier. So good to see some familiar names in the drafts again. Let's take a look at what's coming up here. So we got to pick at 46. This is a range where a lot of times if I need an outfield too, I've been clicking Brandon Nimmo. Let's talk about George Springer. I don't think I'm going to click his name a single time this year. I just cannot understand why he's ranked where he's ranked. And honestly, I don't care that he's stacked with Vlad Guerrero. We saw a healthy year last year, and 1,283 points is solid, but that's not going to get it done at 45. And I just don't know that he has much ceiling left. He's been around for a while. So there are legitimately, I think, 7 outfielders after him that I would rather have. Nemo for sure. Castellanos, Hap, Teoscar, Santander, Jazz, Marcel, Seiya, Suzuki. I would literally rather have every single one of those guys over George Springer. So Uh, I'm out on him, and I don't understand his ADP. And quite frankly, I'm not worried about him burning me. I don't think that there's much of a ceiling there. Just talked about doing a little Toronto stack. I don't have much Toronto, but let's go ahead and do a Bo Bichette pairing with Vlad Guerrero. The Blue Jays offense was pretty disappointing last year, but you know, Bo Bichette and Vlad Guerrero are very good. I believe that there's a lot more talent there than what we've seen. Bo had a really good year 2 years ago. Last year was very mediocre. So hopefully just kind of counting on a bounce back for this particular squad. And then we'll make this next pick, and then we'll recap what the team's looking like, although you can see it on my screen. Let's do. I want to try to get some more Santander in my lineup. He feels like a guy who can score in bursts. Like he hits home runs in bunches, it seems. I also really like Jazz in that particular range, but I've got a good amount of Jazz this year. So this is more of a just get some more Santander in the lineup type of play. So through 5 rounds from the third position, the infield is Vlad Guerrero and Bo Bichette, a little mini Toronto stack. And then the outfield's Aaron Judge, Randy Arozarena, and Anthony Santander. So it's a decent start. I saw Brad took Jazz immediately after I passed on him. Brad's got a good team going here, man. This looks good. Otani, Ramirez, Devers, Pablo Lopez, and Jazz Chisholm. I think that's a really, really solid start. And construction-wise, I do really like getting an ace in the first 5 rounds if I can, like if it makes sense. I'm kind of passing on Zach Gallen right now. Like I love Zach Gallen, but I think a concern that we've been talking about lately is this dude threw an insane number of innings last year. I think including the playoffs, wasn't it like 238 or something, or maybe more? That's a lot. That is a lot of innings for a dude to throw in 1 year. His price feels right, like he feels appropriately priced. It doesn't really feel like there's much more juice there. Like you're kind of paying for pretty close to his ceiling outcome. So I don't have much Gallen this year. I don't feel great about it, but also it's kind of a price and construction play. I'm not full fading him by any means, but I'm not like last year. I was all in on him. He was my highest. I think Lance Lynn was my highest owned pitcher, which is painful. Or he was up there. Actually, Tyler Mahle was my highest owned pitcher, but Zach Gallen was up there. And that worked out very, very well for me because he was really cheap. Take a look at the board. Got a nice little purple run here. A very nice purple run. 7 of the last 10 picks have been purple. And this feels like such a good range for pitching. It's almost like you can't go wrong. I think the 2 boring guys are Framber and Logan Webb. I think the highest potential is Glasnow. I know a lot of people would put Kirby in that same tier. There's a lot to like in this range of pitching. Evan Carter goes 66. Feels early. Is that early? Nope, it's not. Never mind. Roofie Man asked, how heavy am I stacking my teams? I kind of lean towards just play the best plays in a lot of cases, but I do use stacks as a way to either get different or get some exposure to guys I don't already have, i.e. Bo Bichette. And I'll use it as like a tiebreaker. So, if I've got like Christian Walker and Ketel Marte. I might pick Eugenio Suarez instead of Jake Berger, you know. Um, let's make this pick real quick. I don't understand this Snell price. Snell feels too cheap. He's risky. But my God, season he had last year was bananas. So a guy with that amount of talent and upside feels a little too cheap at 70. I was completely out on him when draft season first started because I think he was the first or second pitcher off the board, and that was just batty insane to me. But he's going off on average as the 15th pitcher off the board. That feels a little too cheap. So I've been gravitating towards him quite a bit lately. Our guy Billy Jones checking in. Welcome in, Billy. Let everybody know I'll be on your channel on Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern. I messed that up. 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central. You're and I are going to get together, look at some data points and stuff. So really looking forward to that, man. Thank you for having me on. I think that'll be a good time. A few pitchers I really like are off the board here, so probably going to go ahead and just take an infielder. Trying to get more Royce on my teams. I don't have much of them. I think I'm probably at like 5 or 6%. I don't know. His upside is massive, and I'm just trying to get a little bit of exposure to him. So infield start with, well, let's just recap the team. We got 7 picks made already from the 3-hole. Blake Snell at pitcher, then Vlad Guerrero, Bo Bichette, and Royce Lewis. And then the outfield is Aaron Judge, Randy Rosarena, and Anthony Santander. This feels like a decent start. I don't want to get too behind at pitching, so we'll just kind of see what this next wave looks like. I know this 94-99 range, that's where Joe Ryan, Justin Steele, Carlos Rodon, a few guys that I like are in that range. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, Roofie Man, stacking has shown to be beneficial. I mean, I don't think that surprises anybody. I do wonder how much the Braves really skewed that last year. Because obviously, like if you had Acuna, you just destroyed everything in sight. But also, there were some really cheap guys that had good seasons for them. Marcell Ozuna was going really late, and he wasn't even being drafted early on, if I remember correctly. Ozzy Albies was cheap. Sean Murphy was cheap, although he really tailed off. So again, it's one of those things I use as a tiebreaker. I'm not one of those guys who, like, after I clicked on Vlad Guerrero, like, I'm not just going to queue up a bunch of Blue Jays and force the issue. I don't think that's not the way that I like to draft. Whether it's optimal or not, I don't think we know, but I don't like doing that. I feel like sometimes you get so obsessed with stacking that you miss some potential really nice value spots or combinations that you wouldn't otherwise be able to get. Because a lot of people are stacking, so there's going to be some common pairings. And I don't really care about that all that much in baseball, honestly. But I'm not forcing it. But I'm also not stacking. If that makes sense. Hopefully it does. Is anyone's draft very laggy? For the first time, Brad, mine is actually, like, my clock is right. Everything's going smoothly. So I did feel like actually when I made my first pick, it felt like it kind of like stuttered on me. So I don't know. Roofing Man's been stacking a lot through the first 50 First 50 drafts, I assume. We're trying not to stray too far from ADP. Yeah, it's kind of one of those things. Like, I don't want to tether myself to ADP, but I also like I don't. If I like I in the example I had with Christian Walker and Ketel Marte, right? If and Eugenio Suarez is 12 ADP spots away, right? But in my draft, he's 16 spots away. I might just take the risk that he doesn't get picked and he goes a little bit past ADP and I get a discount on him and favor, a pitcher or an outfielder or something else instead of scrolling down and forcing in the stack. I do feel like Arizona is a bad example for me because I have quite a bit of Arizona stacks, but Billy chiming in here, stacking for MLB was one of the sicko survey questions today. Sign up for Spike Week's free MLB Best Ball Almanac for data, strategy, and rankings. Billy talks, we listen. He's got some great insights into some of these data points from last year and this year. So that'll be interesting to see what that says. There absolutely is value in stacking, but I just it's draft dependent, Like, if my team needs a pitcher more than it needs to stack that particular lineup, then I'm going to take the pitcher to make the team more well-rounded more often than not. Ebbs and flows, man. Each draft is its own animal. I am so unbelievably disappointed that Kodai Senga has a shoulder thing. That is, man, that's brutal. That's so brutal. He was just, his price was starting to get a little expensive, but I do feel like, Brad, you just ruined my life. I'm trying to get more Reagans and you just completely and totally. I'm gonna back off of Rodon a little bit. I'm gonna believe in this Zach Eflin thing. I know Derek Carty, purveyor of the bat projection system. If you don't know him, if you're watching this, you probably do. I know that he and or the bat is really high on Zach Eflin's talent. So go ahead and take him in that spot and get some exposure to him. Just trying to mix up the guys that I have. I also feel like, especially in this range, when I'm at like the 1, 2, 3 hole, I have a lot of these guys paired together. So I need to get a little bit different with my pairings and not have the same combos. Again, I'll be looking at that in more detail soon as far as combinatorial ownership goes. I hope that I don't find that every single Acuna team I have has Francisco Alvarez or whatever. But we'll find out and we'll make adjustments. Definitely going to take another pitcher here. I don't really love any outfielders in this range. Actually, you know what? I said it at the beginning of the stream. I pulled up my exposures. Brad, I swear to you, I'm not doing this to spite you. Never mind. This guy ruined our lives. You know what? Ban him. Ban him. Somebody get a hold of Numi. Tell him to ban this guy. He needs to go away forever. I'm angry. Brad's angrier. Be honest, Brad, were you going to take Wyatt there? I mean, I was going to. I was definitely going to take Wyatt there because I need to up my ownership of him. But if Wyatt was there, you're taking him, right, Brad? Like, there's no way. Yeah. Like, are you even a Wyatt fan, bro? Like, taking Cole Reagans over Wyatt? I feel like that's poser behavior. I'm saying this to a guy who has a massive position on Wyatt Langford. Dude, that dude is impressive. He is very, very impressive. We always like themes. We always look at best ball, whether it's NFL or baseball or whatever. as like, who's this year's X? You know, so who's this year's Corbin Carroll? Who's this year's rookie that could just go absolutely ballistic? And there's a few names on that list, but given the size and power that Wyatt has, for me, I think he's. I think I've been convinced he's the guy who could do that. Um, Billy Jones is very in on Reagan, so much so that the caps were in fact intentional. I respect that. And Brad took Outman there for the stack. I have been drafting quite a bit of Outman. And I said at the very beginning of the stream when I was going over exposures, I like Outman even more after that Manny Margot trade. So, and I've been doing drafts on another inferior provider of best ball product, and James Outman is just, I mean, he's almost. I'm going to have a concerning amount of him over there because he feels like an auto click at his current price over there. Cedric Mullins is another guy who I have virtually no exposure to here, but I'm damn near pushing 50% over on that other provider. The price is ridiculous for him over there. And that's why I like drafting on, two different platforms if I can. Just kind of like, it's another way for me to diversify, not only amongst my players, but just among platforms. Even though Underdog is superior in every way, in my opinion, it is nice to have a little bit of additional exposure. All right, Shriva takes Reese Hoskins at 112. God, I love him. I still think he's very, very reasonably priced too. I'm still drafting him, and it's so easy to stack the Brewers too. Like, there's not too many guys that you want on their offense that you're like clamoring to get, but guys that get drafted in every draft are Yelich, Churio, Hoskins, Contreras, Willie Adames, Sal Frelick. If you really, really want to do a scroll down, Garrett Mitchell is there at the very end of drafts. So we're kind of an interesting case. All right, Brad, let's see what you do here, buddy. Bieber. Okay. Much of him. I'm going to go ahead and do the Buxton thing. I'm going to go ahead and take Buxton here. I don't want to be at 0 of him, but I'm probably not going to clock in at more than 3 or 4%. I just kind of hedging just in case this happens to be the first year in history where this dude actually stays healthy and plays up to his capability. Getting him at 118, if that happens, yikes. So I don't want to have none of him, but I'm not gonna go out of my way. And then this pick, I'm just gonna do something nice and boring and go with Chris Bassett. I primarily target the archetype of pitchers with high strikeout stuff. This staff isn't as high K as I normally target, but Chris Bassett just feels like nice and safe. He's going to throw a lot of innings. He's a very good real life pitcher. Who knows? Maybe he gets his strikeout stuff up a little bit. I don't love the staff I had. It just felt like maybe reinforcing it was the right move there. So recapping the team, I am through 11 picks. I got Blake Snell, Zach Eflin, Bobby Miller, and Chris Bassett as the pitching staff. Infield is Vlad Guerrero, Bo Bichette, and Royce Lewis. And Aaron Judge, Randy Rosarina, Anthony Santander, and Byron Buxton are the outfield. And I just wasn't even thinking because I'm talking, but the Buxton stacks with Royce Lewis, so that's kind of nice to have that little mini. Some chatter here about that Shane Bieber pick. He's a drive line. His velocity is up. Increased velocity is usually a good thing. I thought I was kind of leaning, and still am, to Bieber might be washed, but he's not particularly old. Like, isn't he only 28 or something, if that? Um, so if that velocity comes back, my almost full fade of him is probably going to not work out well for me. But I don't know. He's in a range too. Where did he go? 117. So yeah, he's in this range with Hunter Green, Bassett, Hunter Brown, Tanner Bybee. Like that's a fun range of pitching for me. And I'm out of that group, Hunter Green is the highest owned guy that I have. But I like a little bit of Chris Bassett. I like quite a bit of Hunter Brown because of his strikeout stuff. Um, I'm spite not drafting Merrill Kelly, and that's not financial advice, and I wouldn't recommend that anybody not draft someone out of spite. But he dunked all over my face all year last year, and especially in the playoffs. And I'm angry about it, and I don't understand why he's good. So I'm not drafting Merrill Kelly, and a big part of it is out of spite. And I feel like there are some of you out there who might respect that. Brad, did you confirm? Is he 28? This is Bieber, I assume you're talking about. Yeah, I don't think he's 30 yet. I could be totally wrong. I'm not like a pitcher age savant guy. But then Tanner Bybee is another guy that I really like in this range. Really young kid, had a great year last year. Should get a full complement of innings, roughly a strikeout an inning. So kind of boring from a upside standpoint, like Chris Bassett, but I think he just might be a really good pitcher. So yeah, Brad confirmed 28. Look at that. I got it right. I'm proud of myself. So, you know, the only thing with Bieber, I think he had a shoulder thing, right? That took him down a little bit. Brad is trying to get banned from my chat. Can I do that? Can I ban somebody? How do I do that? Is there a way to like shadow ban him? Put user. Oh, hey, I can ban user, delete their comments. Oh man, I should do that. But Brad is nice enough to show up, so maybe I should leave him alone. But yeah, we spend way too much time talking about Eric Fed in the Discord. I feel like Brad, your Wyatt Langford radar, like whenever there's bicep talk or any Wyatt Langford related tweet, like it catches your eye somehow. I feel like that with Eric Fed, but just for the complete opposite reason, because I think he's ass. I know. He changed up a bunch of stuff. He pitched well, whatever. I don't trust the White Sox to do anything correctly. So let me be illogical, okay? Let's hope for a bounce back from Christian Javier. His 2022 was awesome. His 2023 was like drinking old milk. Like you want it to be good still. Like you really want to eat cereal, right? You've got Cocoa Puffs right in front of you. You just need the milk and you want it to be good, and you have it, and it's just massively disappointing and ruins your Cocoa Puffs. That's what Christian Javier did to me last year. Hopefully that metaphor makes sense, but if it doesn't, it makes sense to me. So who cares if he sucks, if he pitches the whole season? I care, Billy. I care. I don't want pitchers who suck. And we got Christian Javier, best shape of his life season. All right. I like to see that. Things you love to see. Best shape of his life season. All right, Roofing Man at the turn here. Hassan Kim. And I'm going to guess Pavetta. Drum roll. There's a delay. I'm stressing out. He's down to the wire. Giolito. Damn. I was going to say Giolito. That's okay. There's Pavetta. Half credit. Speaking of best shape of his life, I'm going to take Wyatt Langford Sr., a.k.a. Tyler O'Neill. This guy has to be good at baseball at some point, right? Like, the dude is in phenomenal shape. He had an amazing, 2021 or something. Boston is a great park for him. I think that offense is going to be pretty solid. It feels like Tyler O'Neill is going to have a hard time letting us down at 147, but I'm sure we're going to look back this year and be like, why did we try to do that again? I will look it up. I'll look it up on stream here in a sec, Billy. Stacking biceps. Yep. I have seen his biceps, Brad, and they are glorious. Tyler O'Neill's biceps are glorious. We're just bicep watching, you know. All right, let's take a look at the underdog blurb for our guy Christian Javier. Trims down 15 pounds. Uh-oh. Miguel Sano lost a bunch of weight. He doesn't have any power anymore. Javier believes the added weight last season contributed to his mechanical issues and inconsistency. There you go. It's going to happen. Best shape of his life season is going to come for Christian Javier. We're going to look back at the end of the year. We'll be like, man, we're getting a guy who put up 1,200 points in the 13th round. And we're going to celebrate because we'll all be rich. Even Sano has biceps. May have to stack him with Ward. There is not a single simulation within the multiverse that will result in me drafting Miguel Sano. Okay? Just letting you know. Miguel Sano and Andrew Benintendi might as well be the same person because there's no way I'm drafting him. How about Manoah today? He only hit 3 guys. However, he didn't walk them. So, glass half full. Manoah legitimately ruined my life last year because I had quite a bit of Taylor Ward, and he was kind of, if I remember right, he was kind of smoking hot at the time that Manoah hit him in the face. So, yeah, this Manoah thing, man, wow, amazing to see how good this dude was in 2022 and how just completely awful he was. Billy said today confirmed Manoah is definitely on the non-draft list. Yeah, I was getting him at the very end of drafts here and there. Let me deviate real quick and see what my ownership is across all of these contests here. 8.2%. Let's look at the Dinger ownership. 10. Yeah, that's too high. So I did that accidentally. I'm not exactly, in love with Manoah, but just kind of like in those instances, I'm thinking like, what if we get that 2022 guy back? He's just a complete and total smash. But yeah, you don't need to be an expert in baseball to know that hitting 3 guys with a pitch in one outing is not good. That is not good performance. So probably going to go on the non-draft list for me too for a little while until, maybe we see him kind of straighten some stuff out potentially. We've got a couple of interesting discounts here, and I don't know if they'll come back to me. But Anthony Volpe at 145 ADP. We're on pick 163, and he's still sitting there until this auto draft. Yep, there it is. I don't have any Volpe. He just feels unnecessary, especially in this range. I was thinking about taking Jimenez. That's a good pick there, Brad. So if you could like stop sniping the guys that I want, I would greatly appreciate that. I haven't drafted an infielder in about 2 hours, so I'm just gonna do the Suarez thing. He just feels too cheap. That Arizona offense is gonna be a problem. And he was a little light on the home runs last year from previous seasons, and I'm hoping we see an uptick there. But that lineup, the Arizona lineup, is significantly better than Seattle, in my opinion. So I love that landing spot for him. He feels like pretty much a lock to get you 1,200 points. And I think he has the upside for like 1,350 to 1,400 if he can get some power going. So that feels pretty good there. We'll make this next one, and then we'll kind of do a quick little interim recap. What do we think this team needs? I've got power. I've got upside in this infield. So maybe we go with like kind of a floor piece. I don't necessarily need like a stacking partner or anything. I could though. I think that's what I'm going to do. All right, Kikuchi goes. I thought about taking Ke'Bryan Hayes here, but I'm going to take Carlos Correa for the stack. I can't stand Carlos Correa. I don't want to ever see or hear from him again. But he feels way too cheap right now. 15th round for him feels weird. So he's a perfect fit for this lineup with Buxton already and with Royce Lewis. So, and I might do a 4-man Minnesota stack because there's some options toward the end. Rocket Sauce is in hell because Manoah, he's got a lot of Manoah. Do me a favor, review your turn mates teams. I find it really helpful as I wrap up my teams to know what the people I'm drafting around need. Yeah, I agree. I definitely pay attention to that when I'm, not streaming. So it's a little harder when I'm streaming, but like if we're looking at people who are around me, so we look at Brad's team. He's got a 5.55, so he's very balanced. So, it's not like he's got 2 pitchers and I know that he's going to have to take a pitcher soon. Roofing Man's 4.56. So he's basically done with outfield, probably. Oh, yeah. He's got Acuna, Harris, Nimmo, Castellanos, Ruiz, Rooker. That's a nice little mini. Yeah, he's probably done with outfield. So, and then D-Max is also a 5.55. What about Bryant? Also a 5.55. So we've got a lot of balanced builds here. But Billy makes a very good point. When you're drafting, you got to be paying attention to what guys around you are doing. You have to, because there's some potential massive edge there if you have a guy who's starving for pitching and you're like between a pitcher and an outfielder at that pick. You go with the pitcher because you know he's not going to come back to you. So, very good point. Rocket Sauce got here late. If you do another dinger, I'm in. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. I don't know that I will. Rocket Sauce, I really appreciate you stopping by though. Even if we don't do another dinger, I will try to get you a final answer sooner rather than later. I'm not going to like dangle the carrot in front of you to keep you around. That's not my style. But I do appreciate you stopping by. All you guys, like, man, I'm looking at my viewer count. I've got 10 right now. 10 of you. I mean, you guys could be doing anything right now, and you chose to come hang out and watch and draft along with me. And I really appreciate that. This is very, very fun for me. And I hope you guys have a good time too while you're here. It's the whole point. Haven't had much silliness in this draft though. So like, normally we laugh a lot at Brad's expense, but he's putting together. Brad's got a good team going on here. It's probably because he's drafting next to me. I'm just rubbing off of him, you know. So I'll take credit for his success. Good God, Brad, this outfield is disgusting. This is like the My Guys All-Stars here. Wow. Okay. So up with a 5.55. Let's do the Nolan Gorman thing. Wait, where'd we go? There we are. Nolan Gorman has a ton of power, but he's basically Brandon Lau, but just in the 16th round. Now that I think about it in those terms, like, is Nolan Gorman too expensive? Anyway, he just had trouble staying healthy. Back issues suck. But he's very young and he has a ton of power. And he can score in bunches. I hate that the Cardinals signed Brandon Crawford. I hate it. I hate it so. That is the most Cardinal signing that one could dream up. I am not a Joey Meneses guy, but I feel like 195 is a little too cheap for him, considering he's going to be playing every day and hopefully he's healthy. I just want to reinforce the outfield just a little bit. And after this, it gets pretty dicey. So, again, I don't love Joey Meneses, but at 195, that feels like a pretty nice discount for him. I forgot Brad is done with drafting 6 outfielders. He's doing 5 to finish out. He's only got a few more drafts to do. Got to pace yourself, my friend. Rocket Sauce, thank you for the kind words, man. Appreciate it. I don't think I've got another one in me tonight. I'm sorry. It was a long day. It's been a long week. So, but come join us on Billy Jones's YouTube channel. Billy, please put it in the chat if you can, or at least just the name of the channel so people can search for it. Because he and I are going to be getting together on Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern. And I'm very much looking forward to that. So you can catch us there. We'll definitely do a draft over there as well. So catch us on the next one, okay? And also, if you don't already, Rocket Sauce, I don't know if you have X or anybody else who's watching this. If you're on X, I'm Woo Woo J Train there too. That's where I tweet out whenever I'm going to go live. I don't really have like a schedule, you know. I don't have like a set day that I do it. It has kind of turned into 7 p.m. Central is my time, but it just kind of depends on how the week is going. But I'm trying to do at least 2 a week. As we get closer to draft season, I'd like to try to do at least 3. But you know, we'll see how it goes. And if people are just sick of my ass at that point, then, you know, I'll just be chilling here, standing here. Rocket Sauce works nights on a rotating shift. Got to work Wednesday, Thursday this week. Okay, be around. Rocket Sauce, what is your? Are you also Rocket Sauce on Underdog here? Just so I can keep an eye out for you. Brad's trying to fill a perfect game. There's 5 more if you want to draft a perfect game. It's a little too rich for my blood right now, but it's a fast draft too. And Rocket Sauce here, Rocket Sauce on here. Okay, perfect, cool. Again, man, thank you so much for coming in and hanging out. I'm sorry you missed this one. I try to wait, like after I start the stream, I try to wait a few minutes before I queue one up so that people have some time to trickle in and hop in the draft with us. This one filled pretty quickly, which is pretty cool. When we hopped in, it needed 10 more. So yeah, Rocket Sauce. I will, let's see, got to work Wednesday, Thursday this week. Hopefully you can hop in. Dicking around with NBA, that's got to be time consuming, dude. I used to play DFS. I used to do, DraftKings for NBA. Um, my God, it's just, especially with late swap, it's just straight up not fun. I did not enjoy it at all. Had to like set alarms to check the 9 p.m. lineups to swap them out. Like, oh my God, that was so brutal. I don't think I'll ever do NBA DFS again. It is just the worst. All right. So right now we're 3 picks away in the 18th round. We've got a 5-6-6 build. This is probably, man. I don't know how I want to finish this team. I think I'm going to go 7 pitchers. I think I'm going to go 7-7-6. Nestor Cortez looked pretty good. His first time out in spring. I'm not like a Nestor Cortez guy, but let's go ahead and just put him in this lineup. Feels like a cheap, decent pitcher in the 18th round. What are you guys' thoughts on him? Rocket chiming in again. Drafted with Dark Sheep last night. Done 29. Are you gonna max this? You gotta get moving, my friend. I'll probably finish at around 100-ish. I'm with you on this. Edward Cabrera is one of my favorite late starting pitchers as well. He feels like a guy who's got some pretty decent upside, but he's got to get the old control under control. I don't like that. He's got to stop walking people. There we go. Okay. I'm going to keep this a 6 outfielder team because I'm going to operate under the assumption that I get Byron Buxton right on this team. Because if I'm scared of this team having Byron Buxton, I shouldn't have drafted him in the first place. So I'm going to operate under the assumption that Byron Buxton stays mostly healthy and is productive. And I'm going to leave this as a 6 outfielder team and not insulate myself from his eventual probable injury. So these are the things I tell myself. I have to tell myself to not, overthink a team. How much stacking do I want to do? I don't love 3 guys from the same team in the same position necessarily. I'm just going to go with Francisco Alvarez. He doesn't really fit. Like, obviously, I don't have anyone to stack him with, but he's going to be hitting 4th or 5th probably in the Mets lineup, and the guy hits the ball very, very hard. I do think that he's got. I mean, his rookie year he hit 25. Yeah, hit 25 home runs last year. I mean, I think he's got 30 to 35 home run upside in that bat, just a little bit more experience. So that's more of just hopefully kind of a spike week potential type of play. I probably should have just taken Edouard Julien there and did the stack. I might look back and kind of regret not doing that, but whatever. I have enough Julien. It'll be fine. After we finish up here, we'll take a look at a couple guys who have been in the chat. Again, thank you guys for stopping by. Roofing Man and Brad. We'll go ahead and take a look at your guys' teams, and you guys can roast mine if you want. And then after that, we'll call it an evening. Like I said, Rocket Sauce, if you're on X, follow me at Woo Woo J Train. I'm over there too. Because I'd love to, I'd love to be able to have you hop in a draft with us. That would be fun to have, more participants in the chat and in the drafts. It's always a good time. I had one like 2 or 3 streams ago. I think we had like 6 guys in the chat in the draft, and man, that was fun. That was a ton of fun. I had Terrence in here, Brad. I think Chip was in there. It was a good time. I think we're just gonna finish this team off with a last round pitcher. So let's highlight some of the guys that have been targeting. Christopher Sanchez, Tuma, Brendan Tuma, over at Underdog, tweeted out about where he falls amongst like Kyle Gibson, who's just an absolute no thank you. Some of these other guys, I like Christopher Sanchez in this spot. Edward Cabrera, we touched on him. Jack Flaherty looked really good in his first start. His velocity was way up. I'm going to be so irritated if I was a year early on him, because I had quite a bit of him last year, and he wasn't great, which was a bummer. Jordan Hicks I clicked on recently one time. That seemed like a name I know. I don't know if it's a good pick. Look at these relievers, man. Look, if you've never done a draft on Underdog before and you happen to be watching this, if there's one piece of advice I can give you that will be universally accepted as correct, do not, under any circumstance, draft a reliever. All right, I'm going to buy into this Jack Flaherty thing and go ahead and take him. Brad believing in Chris Paddock, post-hype sleeper. Rocket, thank you. I appreciate you following me over there. That wasn't me trying to gain more followers. I just want you to know when I'm hopping on here so that we can, have you hop in a draft if you want to. Especially, I mean, you got a lot more you're going to do. So chances are I'm going to run into you. Brad saying he's going to be roasted. Outfield pretty sketchy, but if Chisholm stays healthy, Bryant returns to form, and Ward doesn't get hit in the face by Manoah, then it'll be fine. I was looking at your thanks, Rocket. Appreciate you, man. I was looking at your outfield briefly, and I was liking what I was seeing. Okay. So this is the one we just did, right? Nope. I got to refresh. Hang tight. Okay. All right. So let's recap my team first. 7-7-6 build from the 3-hole. Pitcher, Blake Snell, Zach Eflin, Bobby Miller, Chris Bassett, Christian Javier, best shape of his life. Let's go. Nestor Cortez and Jack Flaherty. Infield is Vlad Guerrero, Bo Bichette, Royce Lewis, Eugenio Suarez, Carlos Correa, Nolan Gorman, and Francisco Alvarez. And then the outfield is Aaron Judge, Randy Arozarena, Anthony Santander, Byron Buxton, Tyler O'Neill and his large biceps, and Joey Meneses. So I like this team. I don't love it. Feels like I don't know, like a C+, B- type of team. What I do like is that I was able to do a stack with Minnesota. So Correa, Royce Lewis, and Buxton together. That feels nice. But I think that's the only thing I've stacked up. Oh, Toronto, the little mini with Vlad and Bo Bichette. The pitching staff doesn't have as much strikeout juice as I normally like. This team, I think, is potentially dead if Blake Snell is not good. But it's all right. I don't mind it. Roofing Man from the 1-hole, he had a 7-7-6 build with Grayson Rodriguez, Logan Gilbert, Carlos Rodon, Lucas Giolito, Walker Buehler, Marcus Stroman, and Cutter Crawford. The infield is Trey Turner, Xander Bogaerts, Nico Horner, Dansby Swanson, nice little 2-man. Ha-Seong Kim, stacking with Bogaerts. Andrew Vaughn and Ryan Noda. Nice last pick there. I like Ryan Noda at the end. And then the outfield is Acuna, Harris, Nimmo, Castellanos, Ruiz, and Rooker. I think I like this team more than I like mine. The first 3 guys on your pitching staff, I think, really need to carry the freight. Because I mean, Giolito is a good spike guy, but he can also be horrible. I still like Bueller, like this expensive. I like him more if he's like my 6th guy in, but kind of out on Stroman and Crawford. But this team is fun. This team is really fun. And then Brad, 875, getting a little weird, and I like it. Pitching staff is Pablo Lopez, Cole Reagans, Shane Bieber, Hunter Brown, Nathan Eovaldi, Mackenzie Gore, Frankie Montas, and Chris Paddock. Infield is Jose Ramirez, Rafael Devers, Manny Machado, Tristan Cassis. Nice little mini stack there. Same with Jimenez stacking. Ezekiel Tovar and Jake Cronenworth. And then the outfield, I think this outfield is nasty. But you're right. A lot of stuff has to go right. Jazz has to stay healthy. So it's Shohei Ohtani, Jazz Chisholm, James Outman, Taylor Ward, and Chris Bryant. A lot has to go right for this outfield to work. But if you nail this outfield, you've got a thing here. Truly. So Brad's with me on the Noda thing. I think he's a good hitter. And is he going to lead off? No, he's not going to lead off, right? They're going to have Ruiz do that. But Noda should bat near the top of the order, I think, right? Who knows what the freaking A's are going to do? Weird team. So yeah, I think that's it for this evening. So again, Thursday, I'll be over on Billy Jones' channel, 8 p.m. Eastern, and we'll hang out, do a draft. Got some data points we're going to talk about. So I'm really excited to do that. Again, I appreciate you guys stopping by. Brad, as always, thank you so much for checking in, man. Always have a ton of fun with you, hanging out in the Discord, hanging out on streams. It's been nice messing around with you in these. Roofing Man, thank you for the kind words and thank you for stopping by. I appreciate you. Same with you, Rocket Sauce. And of course, Billy Jones checking in earlier in the stream. Appreciate all you guys for stopping by. If you're watching this live, I should have said this earlier, but whatever. If you're watching this live or after the fact, if you could drop a like on your way out, I would greatly appreciate it. Follow me on X at WooWooJTrain. And yeah, Billy, I'll see you Thursday. Come on over with us and hang out on his channel. We'll have a good time over there. But my name is Jason, aka WooWooJTrain. This is Off the Rails, and thank you guys so much for popping in. And we will see you on the next one. Have a good one.